Hi guys, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Valmich Fit. Here we'll learn tips, tricks, and techniques of making beautiful and of course amazing outfits. Please, if this is your first time on my channel and you'd love to see more of my tutorials, do it a favor to hit on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell to stay updated whenever I post a new tutorial video. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to draft all these patterns, and I have the front pattern tutorial already on my channel. This is for the back block tutorial. So now let's get into drafting. Here I have my pattern paper set, my measuring tape, my marker pen, my scissors, and my pattern master ruler. The first measurement I'll be taking here will be the chest line. I marked the upper chest line first just to highlight something. So the next measurement I'll be taking is the bust point. After taking down the bust point, the next is the waistline. There is no under bust point on the back pattern. And that is one first difference of the back from the front pattern. So I'll mark the same measurements on this side so that I'll have a straight line like I do usually. I'm going to rule the lines connecting them together, and I have the chest line, that is the upper chest line. I'm going to take the lower chest line. So I'll go up from the bust point with 2 inches, which I did for the front block pattern. That is when I was drafting the front block, that was what I did. Now I'll label this my upper chest line. Then the next one, I'll label my chest line, my bust point, my waistline, and the next step I'll be doing is the full top length for the back pattern. So the full top length for the back and the front are not the same. I'm going to use the measurement for my side front pattern for my back full top length. So I'll make sure that they are exact on the same line. I'm going to take that measurement down for the front pattern to use as the back top length. And this is another difference of the front from the back block. So I'm going to connect these points together, making a straight line. Though you can decide to make the center back longer to the butt area, but you must make sure the side back and the side front meets on the same point to be on the same line. So these are some measurement area for the back block. Now I'll take my shoulder measurements. I'll take the shoulder measurement divided by 2, make a point there, and I'll also take same measurement on the chest line. I'll connect the shoulder to the chest line with a straight line to connect the both points together, so I would have a straight line. That will be my armhole line. I'll go down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope, and I'll take my neck width measurement. I'm using 3.5 inches like I did for the front. Now I'll take the midpoint between the shoulder slope and the chest line to get the armhole curve, and I went in by ½ inch on that point. I'm going to connect the shoulder slope to the chest line. For the chest line, I'll take my bust measurement and then connect from the shoulder slope to the ½ inch point into the chest line where I have my bust measurement marked. So going back to the upper chest line, I marked this in case you do not want your center back to be deep open or deep low. Then you can go ahead to use the upper chest line as your back measurement, or you can go higher from the upper chest line a little. But you must make sure you're making use of yoke for the front and for the back top so that the side back and the side front underarm will not be on different lines. Now I'm going to impute my dart measurement, which is my nipple to nipple measurement, and I started from the bust point line and then the chest line. I'll do same thing for the waistline and also the full top length. I'm going to roll these points connecting them together, and I'll be tightening the waistline for the back pattern. I usually don't add that to my back block and it will still come out fine, but for this I'll be adding that to the back. So for the waistline, I'm going to tighten it with ½ inch on each side of this dart line. Now I'm going to draw out the dart leg starting from the chest line to the ½ inch point I made on the waistline and then connect back to the full length. I won't be making use of the upper chest line, just the chest line written there like I did for the front pattern. So I want the center back to be 4 inches wide open after stitching. Assuming this paper is on fold, I'll mark 2 inches from this start line and then connect it with a straight line from the chest line down to the full top length. After doing that, the next step to take is imputing your round body measurement. So I'll be imputing my round bust measurement and then my round waist measurement. I'll take the difference between these two dart legs and add it to the measurements to cover up for that dart space, so that after stitching, I'll arrive at the exact waist measurement. On the full top length, I'll take my hip measurements divided by 4 and then I'll connect all these points together to form the side shape for the back pattern. So from the waist to the full length, I'll connect with a slight curve line. When I drafted the front pattern, on the chest line, I came down by ½ an inch on the underarm area But if you want to make use of your upper chest line for your back block, then you can curve from this point to the upper chest line. Though this will be much finer if you used your upper chest line for your front pattern. Now I'm going to come down by ½ inch from the chest line like I did for the front pattern. So I'm going to curve it to the center back like you can see right here. The next thing I'm going to do is to take my neck depth. I'm making use of 2 inches from the shoulder line, and I'll connect it back to the 3.5 inches for the width. I'll be making a keyhole style line for this back yoke, but first let me shade out this that space, the part that I'll be cutting out that I'll not be making use of. So I'm shading it from the half length to the chest line for it to be much obvious. Now I'm going back to the yoke and I'll be creating the keyhole style line. So from this point I marked for my neck depth, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. You can come down by 2 or 3 inches, depends on how open you want your keyhole to be. So from that point, I'm going to curve it to the dart line. You can as well curve it to the 2 inches point made on the center back, depending on how close or wide you want your keyhole style to be. Now that will be my back yoke, and since I'm not making use of the upper chest line, I'm going to cancel it out. Guys, we're almost done with the drafting of this back pattern. The last step I'll be taking will be to add my side seam allowance. You can as well do this on your main fabric, that is when cutting out your main fabric, but I want to do it on my pattern paper so that I'll just use this to cut on my main fabric. I added 1.5 inches for my side seam allowance because I would not be using inseam finishing for the sides, and I would not be adding boning to the side seam. So I'm going to cut out this pattern. And you can also have another dart opening on this side to cinch the waist more, especially if you'll be adding boning channels to it to create a very nice waistline. Though if you do not add that to your back block, it's still going to come out very fine. But for a better and much more beautiful structure, make sure to add bonings to your fabric. After cutting this part out, I'm going to place it together with the yoke to show you how it will look like if I wasn't going to add that lines to my pattern. So guys, this is the front side and the back side placed together just for you to see that they are of equal length. So when I stitch my front and my back together, they are going to be matching on the same line. Now I'll cut open this dart space to separate these both pieces from each other. So guys, this is what I have after separating the both of them. The next I'll be doing is to cut on my fabric and including my ½ inch seam allowance all around this pattern paper. So on my fabric, I've included my ½ inch seam allowance, and from the yoke, this is what I did for the yoke. I added my seam allowance on the chest line and on the keyhole area. So like I said earlier, you can decide to add another dart space for this other side of the body. So just tighten the waistline like I did for the first. So the reason I added my seam allowance on only the chest line and the keyhole area for the yoke and not the shoulder line or the armhole area is because net fabric stretches. So after stitching this net fabric together with the front piece, it's going to stretch to the size that I want it. That is why I did not add my seam allowance on those areas. So I have my fabrics cut in twos. This is the inner fabric. I'll be using lace as my main fabric. Even for my yoke, I also did cut it in two. So this is how it looks like. I explained on my other tutorial what you need to do to make your yoke relax better on your body, and I used the front pattern video to explain what you need to do to the yoke to make it fit properly so that you will not be having any gap on the yoke area. So when you stitch your yoke together, it's going to blend really well to your skin. Guys, you might want to check the part one of this video so you'd understand properly from the very beginning. So I'll drop the link to the part one of this tutorial in my description box so it will be very easy for you to access. I have cut my lace fabric for the back, but I'll be using a plain fabric for the area I'll be adding my loops to. So this is what I did. Where I have my dart, I actually divided that part in two, and this is how it looks like on the inside. I have stitched that part, but I decided to cut my lace fabric to be whole on that area. So this is how it looks like on the front part. Then I'll be stitching this plain fabric to where I have that space. This is just to give it a different and more beautiful look. At this point, I have stitched the back bodies, and you can see the yoke starts from the dart line. I turned the neckline and also the keyhole area. This is how it looks like. This is the final look of the back part. You can see how the net blends very well on the skin and relaxes perfectly on the body. That's because of the way I cut the net fabric. Now this is how beautiful the whole dress looks like from the back to the front. This is the whole back view. See how beautiful it looks like and how relaxed it is on the body. And that is the stylish wrapper added to the lower part of the dress. The wrapper was draped on fitting the dress. So I'll be making a tutorial on the sleeve and on the lower part, which is the skirt part of the dress. This is just a hint on what I'll be putting out next on my tutorial video. So if you like this video and you love to watch more of my tutorial videos, please give this video a thumbs up and click on the notification bell to stay updated on all my tutorial videos. Please do not forget to hit on the subscribe button and also share this video to those who you think might be interested in learning. For now, I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Bye.